We're the world's biggest motorsport family.
Oliver Solberg, co-driver Elliot Edmondson are crowned the WRC2 champion.
Why are sort of Scandinavians really good at rallying?
Well, you have no choice, I think, when you live out there. What else are you going to do? You're not going to drive a Formula 1 car out there, are you?
The first WRC victory for Oliver Solberg at 23 years old.
Yeah, and then you have you have Neville, Rovanperä, Tanak, you have all the world champions behind you, and is this too good to be true? There's only one thing left to do, is to win the world championship.
Welcome back to the Quadcast, everyone, and today's guest is none other than Quadrant Athlete, WRC2 World Champion, WRC winner, Oliver Solberg.
Yay!
And a 24-carat gold Labubu.
Yes,
And he's a
if you guys have seen that.
That's what Lizzie said.
Welcome in, mate. How are
Thank
you?
you.
How are you doing?
I am great. I'm great. Been very busy life, but it's been a great year, and now it's a good way to end the year with you guys in the sofa. I'm happy.
Welcome in.
Yeah,
the highlight of your year.
Highlight of the year.
You sound like you don't ever sit still for 5 minutes. You
Well,
sound
that's
like you're
probably
everywhere.
my ADHD, I think, but mainly. But I love busy life. I've been in motorsport my whole life, so traveling the world my whole life, and it's what I love to do.
Should we start with that then? Because you very much have been doing this since you were teeny tiny.
Yeah.
You come from a family of sort of rallying legends. How was that growing up around that?
Well, I mean, we are, including my mom's side and my dad's side, we're the world's biggest motorsport family.
That is a cool
It's a cool claim.
Very cool.
Right now, I'm the last one who's driving in my family, so no pressure. But it's special, when you have, my grandfather was the first rally driver back in the 70s with Lancia and Toyota also at that time. My mom was a Norwegian champion in rallying. My grandma was the first woman ever Norwegian champion in autocross.
Wow.
My dad and obviously my uncle, WRC drivers. My dad, a world champion. So I don't think I had a choice, to be honest. I was never forced into it, but it was basically what I grew up watching, what I grew up knowing, and basically all I know really my whole life. So it was kind of automatic to start that route. Yeah.
Do you feel there's a big pressure, obviously, with that family heritage and the history with the last name? Did you feel that pressure straight away once you started?
I think when you started winning as a kid and started doing well and people starting to look more at you, jealousy has been a big part of my life. So, with the name you have, it's not only good. It comes both sides, I think. I felt a lot of pressure as a kid, to be my dad, basically, I think, was the whole thing. Now, later days, I don't care. Now I have my own name. Try to, I put so much pressure on myself now that I don't care about everything around. But when I was young, it was hard because, my dad was like, I don't care about it, it's always going to be like that. And my grandma was the same, she's quite stubborn too, so she's like, don't worry about it. It's always going to be like that your whole life. We had it our whole lives, they said, so. But still, when you're 8 years old, 10 years old, 13 years old, that period, a lot of haters, let's say, I think you probably experienced the same through your career. So it's not easy when you're young, but when you're old now, you're glad you kind of fought through it. Yeah?
Pushed through it, yeah.
If you're out at a Grand Prix with your mates, you don't need to worry about all the maths when splitting bills. You can split bills with Revolut at the touch of a button and send them reminders if they're slow to pay you back. And if you're abroad or in need of cash, Revolut also has you covered with the no Revolut fee withdrawals worldwide at ATM within your plan allowance. And Revolut's ATM Finder feature easily shows you the nearest ATMs, and you can filter to only show the ones that are surcharge free. A huge thank you to Revolut for sponsoring this video. You can check out the link below or the QR code on screen and sign up to Revolut and get £20, $20 or 40 Australian dollars after using the card just once.
And did you start with rally? What was the first sort of thing you got into and were like, yeah, I like that?
Well, I've done everything my whole life. I've tried everything. When I was 2 years old, I got my first quad bike at the farm back in Sweden, which you've seen on some episodes. And then I started go-karting actually when I was 5 years old. Did some go-karting with Mick Schumacher, with Theo Pourchaire when we were in Monaco. But that wasn't really my thing, because I did so much quad biking and driving in the forest as a kid. So I always liked to slide, and I always liked the gravel, and I like that stuff. So go-karting, I always was sliding all the time, and all the instructors were like, it's too slow, you're sliding all the time. I said, but it's fun.
It looks
It's fun, you know.
Let me slide.
Let me slide. And then I did that for 1 year, and then I stopped. And I don't think until I was like 8 years old, my parents never pushed me to anything. They didn't, you know, we lived in Monaco. It wasn't really the lifestyle for it. But my grandfather was like, get that kid out of Monaco and come to the forest, you know. And so he took me to the first cross-kart race, which is like a go-kart buggy kind of thing. And we drive on rallycross tracks. And then since I tried it first time, you know, like a small 50cc, you know, lawnmower engine, you know, like go-karts, you know, I fell in love, and that's it.
Was that sort of when you tried the cross karts, was that sort of the switch where you said, I actually want to compete now and do this? I mean, you're still so young, you don't know if you want to do it as a career, but was that sort of the switch of, I want to try compete instead of just kind of being around the sport with your family?
Well, I think, you know, I was around so much anyway, and driving. I got my first Beetle and my first car when I was 5 years old, you know. So, you know, driving on the farm and having like wooden blocks on the pedals and stuff. So I always knew I wanted to drive. Yeah. If anything it was a buggy or quad bikes or cars or, you know, when you're young it's crazy to say that, but it was all I knew, you know, it was all I loved. So when I started, I just wanted to drive. And I knew straight away that that's what I want to do, you know. Not as races. I never cared about the races. I think the first year I raced, I was last every time. Wow. But I didn't know that you had to be first. Or I just loved driving, you know. So I just drive.
Pure passion.
And I didn't care. You know?
So when you did you grow up in Monaco, or did you grow up in the forest in the middle of nowhere? Because they are very different.
It's very different, yeah. Well, I was lucky enough to grow up in both.
Sure.
So we had the summer house in Sweden, which you've been at, the farm, and then we lived in Monaco. And I went to school in Monaco as well, so I spent my whole life basically in Monaco for 6 years, and it was probably alright as a kid. When I look back at it now, I'm happy I moved away.
I just can't see you in Monaco.
I'm not that kind of guy, you know.
You scream forest.
Yeah,
you really scream forest.
It wasn't, you know. I tried tennis, I tried golf, I tried street dance, like ballet dancing. That was probably because of the girls, but when I was a kid. But and I tried theater school. I tried everything, but I never had a passion for anything. Mm-hmm. I never, you know, when you live there, you could never have a passion for anything, and I'm a very passionate guy, you know. So I just wanted to do something. I love doing something, and I think after a few years, my parents also realized that, you know, this life is not for him or not for us, you know. If we're gonna do something different, and my dad and my mom, they started their own WRC team in 2009, so they knew also they had to move back to Sweden to run the team. They couldn't live in Monaco doing that. So I think everything just happened at the right time, you know. When I started and they started their own team, everything just fell in place, and we could move to our farm, and since then life has been good.
Is that where you live now?
Yeah, same place. But now I live, me and Chloe, we live in the house, my fiance, we live in the house 27 meters beside my mom and dad's house.
It's cool.
That's so nice.
Yeah, sometimes it's cool. Not all the time.
Sometimes too close.
Sometimes too close. But it's where I love to be, and it's my whole life is there basically. Yeah.
I have a question for you. Why are sort of Scandinavians really good at rallying? Because it seems to be a sort of running theme that you guys are very good at it. Why is that?
If you go to the farm, you'll see
nuts?
I want to become a rally driver every time I go to that place. It's just infectious.
Really?
Well, you have no choice, I think, when you live out there. I mean, all you have is a gravel road to the right, and we have our own quad bike track in front of the house. So what else are you going to do? You're not going to drive a Formula 1 car out there, are you?
That's so fair.
And when you go to work or go to school, the first 10 miles are gravel. So even my bus driver was, loving rallying, so to school every day. So it's basically what you do, you know. And when I was 2 years old, I sat in my dad's lap driving up and down that gravel road, you know.
Yeah.
So it's all I know.
But then, because we were just talking about the calendar now, like the rally calendar, you now go like all across the world. And I'm guessing there's quite a big difference between driving on sort of gravel roads to the desert, for example, and snow. And how do you sort of deal with all those different changes throughout your year. Like I'm with the Formula One tracks, okay, the tracks are slightly different, but the general gist is kind of the same.
Yeah.
Rallying, it's like you could be driving in completely different conditions every time.
I think that probably is what makes a rally driver unique also, and especially, you know, I'm very lucky to, as I said, to live where I live, because, you know, we have the snow in the winter, we have tarmac, you know, we can go track driving if I want, not far away. We have the gravel roads, so we basically have all the conditions around where we live in. And when you grew up driving on the grass in the lawn, you grew up driving in the snow, crashing a lot in the snow, obviously, and you drive quad bikes or motorbikes or rally cars. You know, and you know, we had a lot of cars from the wreck. What do you call it? Wreckage place. You know, when the cars get scrapyard.
Yeah.
You know, so we bought cars for €100, €200, and we just drove with them and had fun and driving everywhere and crashed them, and then we delivered them back once they're finished. You know, so I think all of them things makes you a better driver, and you learn different conditions, and then obviously when you start in WRC, obviously the experience is key. You know, so the more you drive, the more you do the races, and you need to do them to get experience and to learn what it's all about. And by now I've done all the rallies, and now when you come again to the next rally, it's much easier because you know what to expect.
So when you made your rally debut, you were 15 in Latvia. What were sort of your first memories? Was that your first proper event that you were sort of taking serious?
Yeah, well, I did crosskarts for 8 years.
Yeah.
And I won everything I've ever done in crosskarts. You know, 3 Nordic championships, 3 Norwegian championships, and 2 Swedish championships, and then eventually I never did the biggest class. You know, you have like go-karts, you have all the stepping classes, and I did like the next biggest class in crosskarts, and then I was like, now I want to do something else. You know, I was 15, and then I dreamed of rallying or rallycross for that sense as well. You know, so my Kalle Rovanperä, which is, you know, 2-time world champion in rallying, his father contacted my dad and was like, hey, you know, in Kalle started in Latvia when he was 15. You know, you can get like a special permit. So your core driver drives on between the stages, and then you can drive the stages with a special permit. So I was like, yeah, that's cool. That's what I want to do. And then we basically started that, yeah. So when I was 15, I did the rallying. Started with my first race on snow. And then obviously I started rallycross at the same time. Yeah.
And at that point, did it change for you? Did you start taking it? Because you give me very laid back vibes. And I
think that's more later years, to be honest.
So at that point, did you think, right, I need to lock in here, this is what I want to do, I want to focus, I want to train, I want to get better at this?
Since I was a kid, I have full HDHD, full energetic, all-in vibes, not laid-back vibes, my whole life, you know, and my family is like that, especially my dad, you know, it's all-in, passion, love for what you do.
Yeah.
And I think since I was a kid, everyone told me to go try to get diagnosed for HDHD or something, you know, because I was wild. But yeah, that was my dream. And I think when I was 12, 13 years old, my dream was to do what my dad did. And that's when I decided that this is what I want to do. This is my dream. But it wasn't particularly rallying. It was rallycross at the same time because my dad did that then. So it could have gone both ways, to be honest. But my dream was to make a career, to go all in and make this my life, you know, like my parents. They've been their whole lives, you know. And then when I got the chance to start and do something, then it was an obvious choice to go rallying when you're 15, obviously.
Obviously, and it's pretty cool.
So you say obviously very energetic. You've been flat out your whole life, but I've heard you say in interviews or whatever it may be that your mindset when driving is no unnecessary risk. So how do you, when you get in the car, obviously you have all that energy, you want to just go flat out, but how do you then also control, right, no unnecessary risk today?
In rallying, it's a lot about experience.
Yeah.
I think when I was 15 till I was maybe 19, it was like 110% flat out. Ah, shit, you crashed. Okay. What do you do? Right. Especially when you're 15, I think I crashed 5 times my first year or something. Only on testing though, never on races. But on testing, I rolled the car 5 times. You know, because first of all, I didn't understand pace notes because I wasn't allowed to do my own pace notes. So my dad had to do my pace notes. My co-driver had to drive on the road sections, and I had to do the stage. I had no clue what 6 right meant, or 3 left, or whatever it was, or caution, or brake, or all these kind of things. So I was like just keeping flat everywhere, and then oh shit, there's a crest, and there's like a 90 right after it, and I just kept flat completely over the whole thing, and then rolled the car 5 laps or something.
Co-driver must have been like, oh my god.
Well, I had the girl co-driver, and she was, I don't know how old she was then, maybe 30 years old or something, and her, she's only been with like older guys before that, mature guys who are experienced in the rally car and stuff like that, and I was 15-year-old crazy kid who's gone flat out his whole life, not knowing what rallying really is, and she was scared a few times, I think. Definitely she tried to calm me down, but
didn't work.
It didn't work. So but I think it's not until later years, you've been through hard times, you've been through good times, and you get more experience in rallying, and you do more rallies, you know what it's all about, and maybe not until the last 3 years maybe where I calmed down a bit, I think, and got more experience and more confidence in yourself, in what you do. And now I'm only 24, but you sit with a complete different mindset and calmness than you do now when you have experience.
I saw when you were very young, you used to sit in the back seat when your dad was doing his pace notes and recce's.
Yeah.
How much did you sort of learn from those sort of cool experiences back then?
I think I've seen it all since I was, my first rally I went to, I was 6 months old in Rally Sardinia with my mom,
Yeah, it's quite impressive.
And I think 8 months when I went to Rally Japan first time.
Wow.
So I by some point I think I have seen it all. I don't remember anything, but I think I've seen it all, and everyone says I've seen it all around the rally environment. So I think automatically when you're a kid and young, you see everything and you learn everything, and when I got older, obviously my dad was my hero, or since I was a kid. So I wanted to do everything he did, exactly the same. How you act, how you do it, because he's so passionate and has probably the most passionate guy in rallying. That's what he's famous for. And the hard work, and he said, if you want to be the best, you have to work the hardest, and you have to live it, you have to want it, and I think that's what I've gone through my whole life, that it's your life. You have to make it your life, and it's all I know. I know nothing else. Nothing else. So it's pretty easy.
And I guess having that support as well around you, because we spoke to Leah Block when we were in Singapore, and she's obviously quite similar to you, has sort of grown up in the rally world, and her sort of stories, just like you, being teeny tiny sort of around the rally stages, and it just becoming part of her. And you speak very similarly about the way you think it is your whole life. It's just what you were always going to do.
I think we come from, me and Leah, we used to hang out in the WRC paddocks as a kid, and I was a kid, but I babysitted her because she was much younger than me, but and Ken was my hero as a kid, as a personality, as a brand, and so on. And I think we come from the very same background, we have had two fathers, unfortunately, who were very passionate, loved what they did, and it was their life, and I think when you've grown up in that and live in that, it becomes your life, and it's all you know, really. So I think it's very similar for her, and you see her doing that in her career now, with her family as well. It's very beautiful to see.
And you said you used to do the gymkhanas when you were younger with Ken. That's pretty cool.
Well, it's weird to think about. It feels like I'm just starting my career now. But I've done so much already, which it's unfortunately easy to forget about. But when I look back, it's already a dream life come true, and something Ken was my hero, is still my hero. As a kid, he used to visit the workshop when I was young, and with his monster branding and his cool image and gymkhana, because my dad was my hero, of course, but Ken made rallying fun. I think he made it to a different audience, made it so for everyone in the world, which was so unique, and I think that was cool as a kid, like the show and the cars and the action, and then you know, in the paddocks when I was young, I always used to go to Ken. I always used to be in his tent or always with his team because it was so much cooler, I thought, as a kid. My dad didn't like that, of course, but my dad loved the passion that I had for it, and you know, Ken as well, you know, and got quite close to Ken and got to, you know, experience so much cool things, and you know, I think when he had the rallycross team and my dad had the rallycross team when the World Championship was very big at that time, we were talking about maybe, you know, joining his team, being one of the drivers, and then eventually, you know, the rallycross shut down and everything shut down, and then I got an opportunity instead to do Gymkhana 10, you know, with him, which was just, you know, I was 16 years old at that time, and he calls me up and they're like, hey, you know, you want to do Gymkhana 10 with me? I'm like, this is a scam, you know, Frank. Yeah, it was, for me, that is the most unique memory I'll have in my whole life, because a character like Ken that you looked up to your whole life, and to be part of a Gymkhana series and a Gymkhana video in Sweden on snow, doing donuts together, jumping together, and as a 16-year-old, that was you know, and still is the biggest thing you can do your whole life, you know. So
same, yeah.
It's a unique memory.
Yeah, that might be one of the coolest memories ever.
Yeah, that is really, really cool.
So should we talk about more recently the year you've just had, because it was quite exciting.
Yeah.
You've done some pretty cool things. Do you want to talk us through highs and lows?
Well, highs and lows, that goes for many years, you know. I think I'm only young, but I've been through a lot already. You know, when you start so young, you experience a lot of things young. And as I said, you know, I've won everything I did my whole life, building up to coming into WRC. I won everything in rallying before WRC, and you know, maybe things went a bit too well too quick. You know, that I never experienced really the lows. Okay, I had a few accidents here and there, but that happens in rallying when you're young. But still, winning everything and thinking you're like, oh, this is great, you're the best, you know, now give me the World Championship, give me WRC, you know, I'm ready. And I think, you know, I don't think things happen too early, you know, back in like 2021, 2022 with all the Hyundai story and everything that happened. I don't think it happened too early, but maybe it was the wrong time at the wrong place. I think, you know, as a young guy just starting, maybe it was not the right place for me to jump in, I think. But then you experience the lows for sure. You know, 2021 was quite a good season, but that was like a build-up season into Hyundai, and then you got a part-time season in WRC back in 2022, which was a few good rallies, but it was a few very hard ones, and the whole, you know, there was a lot of team politics. There was a lot of maybe not, you know, there's a lot going on in the team at the same time of trying to take care of the two biggest drivers in the world, and then a third young driver to try to build up. I think the match wasn't there. It wasn't just the wrong time at the wrong place, and eventually I actually got fired, you know, halfway through the season. And as a 21-year-old or 20-year-old, whatever I was, it's hard to take, you know, when motorsport and rallying is your life, it's your dream, it's all you know. And then you all of a sudden just got kicked out so young and so early. It was a hard time. It, you know, took a few months to recover, took a long time to recover, you know. Luckily I had have a beautiful family around that knew all about hard times. You know, my mom and dad, and from being from the top to go to the bottom, my dad knows all about it, but still it's the first time you experience it, and my dad never thought I would experience it, not as 21 years old, and he's never seen anything like it, that how I could go through something like that. So it was a hard time. It took 6 months to come back on my feet, you know, mentally. I think you know, I had to go through it myself, you know. I tried a shrink, you know, or what do you call it, the psychologist, for 30 minutes, and I said, fuck that, this is not for me. I managed it myself, and I went out and I went to the forest and sat on my quad bike, basically. And I think that I was lucky in that sense to to have the forest, because you can switch life off really, and starting to rebuild, and then back for 2022, basically starting from scratch, going back to WRC2, back to the lower class, and have to start building your own brand again, that's when I basically started building my own brand. And we have to start being a privateer again, finding funding, sponsorship, and very lucky to have had Monster on board, for so long, for that time of period. Without them, I probably wouldn't have been able to continue either. My mom and dad has always been very helpful, but they've always been very strict on, we'll support you with the car, we'll support you to drive, but if you want to drive, you have to do it yourself. I always had that since a kid, and that comes back to passion and what you love and what you dream about, what you want to do. I called my first sponsor was actually These Issues with Ken Block when I was 10 years old. I called These Issues when I was 10 years old and said, hey, do you want to sponsor me? I love your things. I'm a big fan, and that was my first sponsorship. So I've always done that my whole life, working on sponsors, doing my own budget, and especially when you're young, you have to do it all yourself. And my dad helped, as I said, he helped me with the car. But he said the funding to drive, you have to do yourself. If you really want this, and if you want to do it, you have to do it yourself.
Nice.
So that the whole rebuilding period started then, 23, 24 season, and go back to, I think that's when it all started. Go back to winning, fighting for championships. You believe in yourself. You became the quickest driver in WRC2, most stage wins, and eventually, rebuilding confidence and rebuilding yourself. And I think the unique thing with it all, which I'm very lucky and very proud about now, is that you built the brand. You built a personality. You built build yourself up. I think you built Oliver Solberg. You became Oliver Solberg in yourself, which was nice for me. Obviously, it's so mentally and what you love to do, and that's when you have to go back to the roots, what you love about, why you love it. I love the artistic side through Ken, the passion side of driving through my dad. And all of that started building, and then I signed for Toyota for this season. Which was a dream come true, obviously. Still WRC2, but it was a full season. You did all the rallies in WRC, and obviously why I signed was because you get a shot in WRC. I got in the contract was you get one race in WRC as a comeback or as a learning, and this season has just been incredible. I mean, it couldn't have gone better than I ever dreamed about. Winning 9 out of 13 rallies so far, WRC2 champion, dominated that, and then obviously I think the cherry on the cake was obviously WRC, when you get the one shot to come back. All happened in 1 week. It's a crazy story. It's actually a good story. I'll continue talking here now. But they called me after Greece. We had won 3 rallies in a row in WRC2, and then I sat on the porch on Monday night at home having a beer, and the team called me and be like, hey, next week do you want to drive WRC? I was like, shit, I said, was my first reaction. And I didn't say yes straight away. My mom's calling. The boss is calling. No, and then, I said, oh shit, I said. And he said, that's not the answer I expected. No, I know, I said. But let me think about it. And then we hang up, right? I think he got a bit shocked by that, so did I. And I called him back 30 minutes later, after I had talked to my dad and mom and, been a bit excited and all that. And to Chloe, and called him back, and I said, because, when you had been through all the hard times and done all the mistakes, and you've been at the lowest, and you don't want to do the same mistake again, basically. That's what you were scared of. So I didn't say yes straight away. I said, what's the plan? How are we going to do this? Are we going to do it properly or not? Because I'm not going to jump in just to jump in. Maybe anyone else would, but I had the belief and confidence in myself that I'm not just going to do this if it's not properly done, you know. If I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it properly. And so I told him, you know, how many test days do we get? How do we prepare? What's the plan? What's your goal? You know, do you expect me to go and win, or do you expect me not to? And, you know, get everything clear before I...
Yeah.
And then we sat down at the meeting, and then I said, yes, of course, now I'm ready. And mentally I was more than ready. Been ready for a long time. But again, you still had that uncertainty when you jump in and be like, can you do it?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And I only got a day and a half in the car. Never tried a car before. And all the other guys had done all their testing already. They've set up the car. Everyone was happy. And then I jump in the car. I was like, I'm missing something, you know? I'm not happy with the car. And they've driven the car for 4 years,
Yeah.
Full seasons. And we're talking about the top guys here. Kalle Rovanperä, OJ, all these guys. But, you know, I think I come from a family where, you know, my dad has built his own cars since 82. Very, you know, he's very into the technical side, loving the mechanical side as well. And that's where my family is very unique and known for, to be a lot of passion, pushing hard, and especially on the technical side, that they always want to improve, always want to be the best. And I think I've been very lucky to learn that through a young age, that, you know, try everything, test everything. What's the feeling? You know, trust your feeling, and if you want to change, if you want to improve something, do something. You know, not just drive.
Yeah.
And I came into the WRC car, and I was like, I'm not happy. The car doesn't do what I want to do. It's not good. And you know, how the hell do you say that to the people who fucking engineer the car? And so I said, okay, if I feel it, I feel it. So I said, it understeers, it snap oversteers, I don't feel so comfortable, you know. And you need to be a little bit politically correct how you put it on the table, and, you know, start working slowly. And I only had the day and a half. So I started working and pushing, and then eventually they were like, oh yeah, they saw it on the data, and they saw what I meant, and they understood it on my driving, and we worked really well together, so quick, and they opened up a lot, and we worked really hard, and I basically changed the whole car over. So my car was black and white to the others. So you had like 4 guys going to the left, I went completely right. But I always follow the feeling and the philosophy that we've always had, you know. And some people obviously doubted it in the team. It's normal. And then some people were very supportive, you know. That's normal. But you got to believe, and you got to stay strong in them situations. But after the test, I felt great in the car. Yeah. Super quick and really happy, and I don't think anyone expected anything, to be honest, neither did I. And then after the test, the funny thing is, we had a camper. So me and Chloe took the camper, drove from home all the way to Finland testing, parked in the middle of the forest, and was ready in the morning straight away when the car was there, you know. And then we went to the next test. We slept in the camper again, ready in the morning. And I was going to be ready. I was going to be there in the morning when it started. And then we went to the race in the camper. We parked the camper outside the service, you know, and slept in the camper really during the whole thing. And then the rally started, and won the first stage. It was my first ever stage win in WRC. Won the first stage. Then you have, like, you know, you have Neville, Rovanperä, Tanak, you have all the world champions behind you, and you're like, shit, you know, is this too good to be true, or is this, you know? But it felt great, you know. And I started crying then at the stage end, because it was, you know, a dream come true. It's what you worked for your whole life. Everything came through your head at that point, you know, emotion and passion and hard work, and I think my mom and dad was crying, Chloe was crying, and then from there on I just continued with just driving, and won more stages and more stages and more stages, and I think I ended up winning half the stages of the whole rally, and you know, okay, I have to tell you, the first half of the race I was pretty calm. I felt fine. It was I'll just keep going. And many people thought why I was leading after Friday was because of start position. And then I started to believe that myself too. I was like, maybe the start position. I was nervous for Saturday morning, because then you have like Tanak behind you who is from Estonia, and we are in Estonia, he was only like 12 seconds behind, so I was like, fuck, today he's gonna, go for it.
Yeah.
And then I won the first 3 stages in the morning straight away, extended my gap to 23 seconds, and I was like, it's not so bad. This was quite good. And then lunchtime, going out to the afternoon stages, I shit my pants. I was so nervous. I was like, shit, what do I do now? Now I'm like, I've done half the rally. I'm on my way to win. But should I continue or should I not, Is this too good to be true or not? I called my dad in the car and I said, what the fuck do I do now, basically? Sorry for swearing. What do I do now? And he was like, well, I mean, it seems that you are pretty calm and, if you feel it, you feel it. If you don't, you don't. He said, but just keep doing what you're doing. I think this is no problem. You can win this, no problem. I said, okay. Thank you. And then
Thanks, Dad.
and then I put my helmet on, started the stage, and then I think I extended my lead to 26 seconds when Saturday was done. And then the weather guy calls me Saturday night in my hotel. And he was like, hey, by the way, it seems like there's going to be a full rainstorm tomorrow. I was like, great. This is just what I need, You're going to try to win your first rally. I've never tried a car on wet conditions before. And didn't even know when I went out in the morning, full rain. Didn't even know where the button for the wipers were, I tried to figure that out in the morning, And was nervous again, And then I stood on the start line of the first stage on Sunday morning, and Elliot just said, just do you. Should be fine. Okay. And won the first 2 stages in Sunday morning, extended my lead to over 30 seconds. And then you had 1 stage to go, power stage. And before power stage, when I stood on the start line, that was when I was the most calm. I knew it was okay. Yeah. If I just drove clean, consistent, I knew it was fine.
Yeah.
And when you come over the finish line, then when you first thing is all the relief and the excitement and the happiness, and then when you reach the stop control, your family is there. Everyone's crying. Then all the emotions came, all the hard work, all the passion again, all these things that you've been fighting for your whole life, basically, with your family, and then I started crying too. So it was the biggest day of my life.
So let's dive a bit deeper into the emotions behind that win in Estonia. Like, why was it so emotional? What came through your head? Like, what made you feel such strong emotions once you crossed that line?
Well, I think when you come from a family I come from, and you have the passion and the heritage and the life you've had, and when you know nothing else and you've done that whole life, I think when you achieve something so big, something so unique, and one of the youngest ever winners, one of the quickest winners in WRC, and I don't think I realized it at the time what I had done. But when you start getting messages from OJ, Sebastian Vettel, all these, Jimmy Johnson and Sebastian Loeb and OJ, all these guys start to tell you that this was probably the most impressive thing they've ever seen in rallying history. Then you start to think like, shit, what did you actually do, And I think when you have your whole family part of it, which has been part of it your whole life, it becomes, we are a very passionate and emotional family, and when you achieve basically one of the biggest things you can achieve in life, and in the way it happened, and in such a short period, and through all the hard times and everything, everything just overboiled, everything became a dream come true, and just is the biggest thing that ever happened in my life, beside engaging to my engagement to my
nice
nice
done.
no, but it just felt like all that weight on your shoulders and all that jealousy and all that everything you've gone through your whole life, that you should it's always that you should do it because you're him or that, and all of that just went off my shoulders and thrown in their faces, basically. It's just felt like you became you and what you always dreamt about, and what you proved everyone wrong, kind of thing. And you proved to yourself, I think, was the most important, that you actually deserved to be there and could do it.
And sort of solidified your spot among so many legends that you've grown up with. You've proved that you're one of them too. Like whatever happens,
I think now when we were in Japan and the day that we launched the whole thing, in with Toyota, they had made 100 books out of the 100 wins they've had in WRC, and the win in Estonia was Toyota's number 100 win.
Wow.
Oh wow.
Which is a cool story. And when you open that book and you're gonna sign in the book and you see all the names in the book, like Juha Kankon, Björn Valdegård, the Swedish early driver, you have Ogier, all these unique names, Carlos Sainz, and stuff like that, and you can sign your name beside them.
Yeah, you're one of them.
It's a very unique feeling.
So
That's pretty special.
it felt like that shift of you going from, let's say, Petter's son
Kind of, yeah.
to
you
Oliver
finally
Solberg,
become,
you
you finally become you
really
and what you always dreamt about, and what everyone doubted you that you couldn't do, that you'd always just be there because you're Peter Solberg's son. But when you actually can prove everyone wrong that you can actually do it yourself and do it the way you did it, and fight through mentally and never giving up, and I could easily have broken down and quit after 2022 and thought that was it, but you got to believe, you got to fight, and that is the cool story of it all, that it's possible. Everything is possible.
How important do you think that win is now as well? Going into next year, you have the full season.
Yeah.
How important, you'll be able to lean on that experience of, you can do it now. So if you ever go through tough times.
Make it much, not easier, obviously it doesn't make it easier, but it makes it calmer.
Yeah.
Start your season full time for the first time, knowing that you can do it, knowing that you have that box ticked. So you can start now just getting more experience, learning some things that you need to learn still, and you can manage your expectations through the year, where you can do well, where you need to learn, and start the year much calmer because you can do it.
There'll be no noise around can he win, because you've done it now, so you can focus on
doing the
a lot of other important stuff.
I agree.
And that jump between WRC2 and WRC, is it massive in terms of the car itself and how you drive? Are they completely different?
Obviously, the cars are very different.
Yeah.
Speed-wise, aerodynamic, it's about maybe 1.5-2 seconds per kilometer faster.
Wow.
It's basically like Formula 2 to Formula 1, basically. But the driving, driving is the same. The technique and the feeling and everything that remains the same, but you use it different.
Yeah.
You have more braking. You can brake later. You can take the corners faster, and so on. But the top speed is the same. So when you go 150 miles an hour through the trees, you do it in both cars. So it's just that you have much more grip and you can do cornering much higher. So there was for sure a lot of things that I learned through the weekend and so on. But straight back is a good comeback.
Yeah, it worked. Definitely worked. And how are you feeling for next year?
Well, now another dream came true. Now I signed my first ever full-time contract for the biggest car manufacturer in the world. And in one way I feel it's a dream come true. It's the biggest thing in my life. You sign for Toyota for a full-time season in WRC, and your teammate is Sebastian Ogier, 8-time world champion, and so much you can learn from him, and start. You want to just start now. I could have started yesterday.
Yeah.
And it's just now the journey starts. It's now the hard work starts. And now the dream. Because you worked your whole life for something, and it's all been like a dream, a goal, and now you actually feel that you can do it.
You can do it.
Now you can actually feel that you can see the light at the end of the tunnel and start working towards it. What you dreamt of your whole life. And there's only one thing left to do, is to win the World Championship.
That's the
Last
dream.
box to tick, and that's the dream. And I'll do it till I die, so no problem.
Yeah, that's the thing. Once you've done that, do you think you'll be satisfied, or will it be, I got to do it again?
I'll be satisfied, but all I know is driving, and
So
all
you
I
just keep
love
going.
is rallying, and like Kalle Rovanperä now, he switched to Formula cars and eventually probably wants to try Formula 1, but
Not
me, I'm happy to be a forest boy and drive rally cars the rest of my life, and maybe you never know. Maybe after if I have win a few times and dream about that, then maybe I'll go do like historic rallying or something,
Nice.
That'd be cool.
an old escort, or something.
Would you have ever done like Group B rallying back in the day? When they had that like insane cars that just had no rules at all.
Yeah,
Would you have
the
done
cars
that?
Yeah, well, you would have done anything you had to do,
I feel like that's so you.
Yeah.
That's such a bit like driving like an Audi Quattro.
Well, the Audi Quattro would have been cool to drive, I have to say. That would have been, I've driven a few different rally cars through in different eras, through my dad's time and stuff like that. But the cars today are the fastest they have ever been, Even my WRC2 car is faster than my dad's WRC car early days, So suspension and the cars evolved very, very much compared to that time,
We've talked quite a lot about sort of rallying in your dad's era and sort of the Group B cars and how iconic that was. Yeah. What do you think rallying needs today to kind of get a sense of what it used to be like?
Oof.
It's a massive question.
It's a big question, but I think, not to brag, but I think the win in Estonia, bringing fresh blood into the sport and showing that as youngsters can win, brought some new excitement to the sport, brought a new story to the sport, because it's been very the same for a long time. And I think that's mainly obviously because there's no manufacturers in. You got to, they stick to experience compared to youth, because it's safer. But I think if you can, rallying lives very, very much on its past, on its heritage. I think if you can start to make make WRC more affordable, make it more a concept, make it more simple for manufacturers to understand what rallying is and to enter and see what it's all about, and get more manufacturers into because rallying today is very expensive. Yes, Formula 1 is expensive, but Formula 1 is Formula 1. I think rallying is at the stage where kind of needs to go back a little bit, go down a little bit to rebuild, to like get more, because the car manufacturers we are gonna get in rallying is obviously not the Formula 1 manufacturers. So I we target more people's cars, SUVs.
That's why people love it, because you can see your own car.
No, you can see your own car. I think that's where rallying has gone away a little bit. It's become Formula 1. I think early days, where Toyota actually does great marketing now with the WRC2 car, is that where I think more manufacturers should do, and they should open up more for that, to have more normal looking rally cars, more affordable rally cars that manufacturers then can actually be like, hey, our road car we sell is our rally car. And the normal people can be like, I want a Toyota GR, like they sell like butter now, this Toyota GR Yaris. And I think that should be more opened up into that direction, rallying that, like Subaru early days did the same, the WRX STI, the blue iconic Subaru.
We have one.
You have one.
We literally have one.
Everyone wanted one.
Yeah.
Because you can actually buy one that Peter Solberg wins with.
Yeah.
And I think is what they should go back to that a little bit. It's bad to say you should go back 20 years, but I think marketing, how they did it the early days with the mix of cars, and obviously the car industry changes, you don't have these small cars anymore like you have, but I think the new regulations now for the future that they are actually working on with the tubular chassis, is a good base. Anyone can just put any car they want on top of it. It's a cost cap rally car, which you can put a SUV body, a big body, a small body. You can put any body on top of this tubular frame and make it look like a road car. It doesn't look like a spaceship anymore, kind of thing. So I think rallying is going in the right direction of going back to the roots a little bit, make it more affordable, make it more for the people. And then obviously I think it's good to have maybe some fresh marketing, some fresh promoter in that is happening now, that is looks like very positive for the future, that can good. Bring a little bit of the Formula 1 touch into it, of marketing, that we don't live in 30 years in the past, we live in the future, that show the drivers, show the athletes what's the sport about, why is it dangerous, why is it crazy, not try to hide it,
I find it very hard to follow or get content from rallying, or the drivers, or it
needs to be much more accessible. Show it to the people, give it to the people, shove it in their face why it's the most dangerous sport in the world, why it's the coolest sport in the world. You know, like
Yeah.
you went in the rally car, you know, and your father, you know, bring them into the rally car, show the world what it's about. Like early days, you know, again, it's sad to say, but my dad used to do so many car shows, so many show events with the brands, you know, open it up, give something back to the manufacturers to be like, you know, hey, this is why you should invest in our sport because you'll
get a
get
lot
this,
out
this,
of
and
it.
this, you know, build this package. I think rallying is going in the right way soon to hopefully get that going.
Get back.
I hope so.
Even like I look back to even when I was a kid, I had the Subaru rally car as a remote control car. They were in every shop,
Yeah,
toys.
yeah.
Like everyone knew about it, even though I didn't even know what rally was at the time or racing. I just liked cars, but
Yeah.
I had a toy car of that. You know, it was so big back then.
No, but you know,
So-
when you go places around the world, the rallying is so big. You go to Portugal, it's 800,000 spectators over a weekend. You go to Finland, it's 300,000. The rallying exists, it's there, it's for the people, but show it.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
just
You
so
know,
hard to access.
Use
yeah.
it. It's hard
Online,
to access
online.
and follow. And you see people driving around with all these Subarus everywhere, Mitsubishis, you know, marketing works. You just gotta use it. And
It has.
I think like Toyota actually does very correctly now with the GR Yaris.
Yeah,
Everyone
it's
wants one.
Phenomenal car. Though.
You know, it's a
so
fun.
good.
It's a fun, affordable rally car for anyone to buy. It's not the Ferrari. It's not Aston Martin. It's a Toyota rally car, which you can drive the same car as Oliver Solberg in the World Championship kind of thing. You can relate. You can have fun with it. You can drive it on the lake. You can drive it on the gravel. You can drive it on the track. It's a car for everybody.
Yeah.
So,
So the WRC car you drove is the fastest car you've driven.
yeah, it
You
will be
haven't
the
driven any
fastest WRC
crazy-
car ever
Yeah.
in history.
So you haven't driven any crazy prototype cars or
No.
some random stuff that's been custom built.
Well, I've driven a lot of things in my life, and
Yeah.
I've done a lot of weird stuff. But the quickest thing I've ever done in my life is the WRC car. And
What's
it
the
will-
scariest?
scariest? Probably a WRC car.
Yeah, it's,
I mean,
it's,
if you
it's
go-
all of them. It
You go
takes every
150
box.
miles an hour
Yeah.
between trees.
Yeah.
It is pretty cool, to be honest.
Yeah, that's terrifying.
That's something I don't get. How you deal with that?
You
Even-
have
I
driven
came
a rally
in
car. Yeah,
passenger
you came.
lap.
Yeah, but you drove it also.
I did. I was amazed at the grip
Really?
that you have with the spike tires.
The spike tires
I
in the
was-
winter
it
is amazing.
blew
The amount
me
of grip
away.
you have, yeah.
I thought I was on slicks on tarmac.
Wow.
Until you slide, then
Yeah. Then it's a bit different.
What do you think more generally rallying? Because I think rally is. I love it. I think it's.
you've been in a rally car.
I've been in a rally car.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've done a stage.
She did the same stage as me this year in Rally Finland on
Yeah, I did
shakedown.
the shakedown.
Oh, you did a bit of a
yeah.
shakedown. Come on.
Yeah, it was
It's
terrifying.
she got the proper stage. You got the proper
I
experience.
got some serious.
All the
lag.
biggest jumps
I
in
did
the
this
world and the
home-
fastest road in the world.
He
Yeah.
did his home one, so
Yeah, right.
yeah.
Cool. Good for you. Anyway,
Did heritage.
shut up. It's not a competition. I think rallying.
Don't
really
worry,
cool.
I'll take you both.
Thank you so
Just,
much. See,
It's
Yeah.
fine. There we go. We got there.
I think rallying is really cool.
Yeah.
Like, sorry to say this, single seater, but I think it's cooler than F1 to watch and to be around. Do you want to see it get as big as Formula One is, or do you quite like the fact that it's still kind of like for the people that genuinely love it? Because I think F1's a little bit, it's on the turn of being. You don't have to be obsessed with F1 to sort of be into it. Do you like that rallying is still secret?
You can never compare Formula One and rallying. I think it's two completely different sports. But I think Formula One is the biggest sport in the world probably,
Yeah.
and it's a show. I hope rallying one day can at least get a fraction of what Formula One is doing in that sense of marketing and bringing the drivers, showing the sport more. And I think the potential of showing rallying of being the most crazy sport in the world
Yeah.
is possible. I mean, you just have to show it. That's what I dream about. That you can bring rallying to a level which shows what it's all about.
Yeah.
And
Why you love it so much.
and
kind of sharing
why
that.
we love it, the passion and the uniqueness of it, But for sure, I think rallying is rallying. It's the coolest sport in the world. But for sure, Formula One is. I think rallying is unique in that sense. It's for the people.
Yeah.
You can bring your family. You can go to the forest. You can have a barbecue. You can watch
And get so close to it.
And get so close.
You never
Little-
get that close in
Have a
Formula
little
1.
barbecue on the side of the stage and
Yeah, and they just
Flat out cars
next
going. But
to
I
you.
think
Yeah.
So cool.
you know, rallying is for the people, and I think it should remain for the people. But for sure, you can do much more for the sport around and build it up, you know, and marketing and so on. But it I think Formula 1 is more high end. You know.
Yeah.
Posh people, no offense, you know. I mean, the nicest people I know is from Formula 1 as well. But I mean,
I know what you mean.
It's two different sports. You can't mix them.
Absolutely.
You can't make Formula 1 rallying or rallying Formula 1. It definitely.
And would you? Because I would love to see more manufacturers in rallying. Like I want to see some old school guys come back and do some cool stuff.
Yeah,
with
my
new cars.
dad's time was the prime time. I always tell
Yeah.
him that, you lucky bastard.
So
It's so
cool.
cool.
It was, you know, the blue iconic Subaru,
Yeah.
the red Mitsubishi, you know, it was like 7-8 manufacturers with
Yeah.
3-4 cars, each team. It was the pinnacle of rallying in my dad's time. But I think
I'd
it's
like to
something
see that come
something,
back.
yeah, I think it's possible. For sure it's possible. It's something to learn from that time, what they did right that time,
Yeah.
because they did something very different that time that unfortunately rallying doesn't do today. But I think rallying heritage and the name and the WRC name is so big and unique, and it's there. Just use it.
They have
To be
such
honest.
big.
They have the heritage. They have the
potential.
name. You know, just use it for what it's for. And I think in the future now with the new regulations coming in for 27, 28, and as well a new promoter eventually coming in, buying into the sport. I think a lot of things can happen. A lot of exciting things for the future in the next 2, 3, 4 years
Yeah.
can really change and become big, you know, and that's what we dream as young drivers as well, you know, that get more manufacturers in, get more chances. Okay, now I got my chance, but for a few years there I didn't think I was going to get my chance.
That's so hard. You have like 3 options.
Three
It's
options,
Such
and
high
insane.
competition. It's crazy. So it makes it even more impressive that you've got it. Like, fair play. This is pretty
nuts,
pretty
nuts.
impressive. Should we ask Oliver our question that we ask everyone? What is your first memory in motorsport? And I feel like this is a slightly ridiculous question for you because you're going to be like
Which goes back
2 minutes old.
Far his brain. Second his brain can remember.
In all fairness, I sadly enough, I remember nothing from my dad's prime time, from his Subaru times and all that. You know, I remember nothing. So I think the first memory I have is it's quite late, to be honest. It's later years. I think, you know, when it's end of his career, unfortunately, you know, in rallying. And then when we used to travel with my dad, going to rally in New Zealand, you know, we were in a helicopter, me and my mom traveling around the stages, watching this beautiful Wanga coast and all the famous stages, you know, in the cambered rows that you've seen on YouTube and stuff.
Yeah, that's cool.
Watching my dad and Ken Block, you know, that's probably the first cool memory I have. Obviously being, I think the first rally memory, proper rally memory, I remember 2008. My dad's Subaru pulled out of the sport. My dad lost his contract, obviously, and then had to find his way back. And that's when he decided to run his own team. And I remember we went on the winter time there before he was going to pick which car to buy to use for the World Championship the next year. We went to France to test the Citroën, and we went to England, to Wales to test the Ford. And I remember very well I was his co-driver for them tryouts when I was a kid, you know. So that's a special memory.
That's so
That's
special.
super cool.
Just a question for me. Does your dad keep all of his cars?
Most cars, actually, yeah. He has most cars. And I try to gather my cars now. To you know, he has his first winning rally car, Toyota Celica 185, which is the coolest rally car in the world. I mean, you start the engine, it's like bop, 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 bop.
Just
And it's like
growling,
no
that was it.
aerodynamics, no suspension, but just big engine.
Yeah.
A bit like groupie kind of style.
Nice.
He has obviously his iconic Subaru, his first winning one, exactly like it ended Rally Wales 2002. Same tires, same rims, not been touched, just came on a truck and parked. He has almost every car. Then also my mom's side, they have a car collection on 150 cars, of more normal.
150.
Yeah, because my mom's Swedish side has a car dealership. And they have one of the first Volvo dealerships. So they have the first Volvo ever truck, chassis number 1. So they have a lot of concept cars from Volvo, you know. So my grandfather's side is a big, obviously a big car family as well, you know. So
cool.
and we save everything, every single trophy from the 70s and forward. In the whole family, everyone who's driven, every single person has driven something or done something.
Yeah.
So we have trophies from everything, all the cars, all the suits. So
Gonna need a new
cool one day
storage
to
room.
just make something out of the whole thing, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you're gonna have to. That's so cool.
Thanks to our friends at Revolut. If you're in the UK, US or Australia and haven't signed up, you can get £20, $20 or 40 Australian dollars just by signing up with the link below, or scanning the QR code on screen and making your first transaction. If you didn't know, Revolut is used by over 55 million people worldwide, helping you manage and make the most of every aspect of your finances. Revolut makes currency exchange very easy. You can spend in lots of different currencies and exchange at great rates. Even if you've got to exchange in-app, Revolut automatically converts your home currency to the local one. You can even view live rates in the app, so there are no surprises. And it's got useful security features to protect your money even while you're abroad. Say you lose your card or are worried someone has your details, you can freeze the card in-app in seconds, order a new one straight away and use the virtual cards while you wait for the new one. You can check out Revolut in the description below.
We live and breathe motorsport
Yeah.
and rallying. It's all we know. It's all we're gonna do. Very simple.
Yeah.
You can see that when we came and visited you and your family. Like, it's just, again, like I said, it made me want to rally and try it. It just sucks you in. Like,
sucks
so
you
I
in.
can't imagine, like, growing up in that environment, you were destined to.
I have a funny
know?
story. I have a funny story about that. You know, Christmas time. Can you imagine Christmas time? You gather everybody together. Obviously, we talk about nothing else than it's basically a debrief. You know, what diffs, springs, dampers, ride height, what car is the best? This car, you know, blah blah blah. From the 2000s, and then obviously, you know, everyone arguing which car is the best and what they know the best and one Christmas, my grandma is the boss, my Norwegian grandma. She's stubborn. She's she's a hard woman. She came in and said, no motorsport talk this Christmas. It's dead quiet. Dead quiet for 30 minutes. Nobody talked to each other. Nobody know what to talk about. I had nice weather outside, you know, it's snowing, and you know. And then after 30 minutes, she said, okay, whatever. And then, that's just how our family is.
That's it. So obviously, we've spoken a lot about your journey, which already obviously started very early. It's been an insane journey. You've already done so much at a young age. What keeps you motivated now to still keep going and enjoy it every time?
It's a pretty simple question. I think it's just driving rally cars, to be honest. You know, I think of it the same and I do the same, and the reason why I jump into the rally city is because I think same reason why I did it when I was 5 years old, you know. It's just you love driving. You love driving on sliding and jumps, and it's just the action and the adrenaline that never quits, you know. It's as simple as that, to be honest.
That's fair enough.
That is fair.
I'd think the same.
I
really want to get in a rally car.
I'll continue till I die. That's fine. You know. Maybe I'll do some different Dakar or maybe something like that. You know, look, Carlos Sainz won Dakar when he was 60, so I have time.
You have loads
you know,
of time.
No. If I win it once, I'm not just going to quit. You know, my dream is to be world champion. Is the final thing I dream about, and just drive and drive and drive. And if it happens once or if it happens 10 times, great. But my dream is to win the world championship and just drive.
Well, thank you so much. It's so lovely to talk to you.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming on.
It's cool to share the story and give you at least a fraction of my life
Yeah,
our family life.
back.
You know, we can talk for many more hours.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, let us know if you want a part 2, obviously.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
and
yeah.
good luck next
Thank you
year.
very much.
Very
Thank
much
you.
looking forward
Good
to
luck.
it.
We'll be following. It's super
And
exciting.
thank you
now,
for being
obviously.
part of the journey
Yeah.
so
Don't be
far
silly.
to reach the
It's
top.
been special. It's been
Thank you so
special.
much.
So yeah, thanks for coming on. That's
Thank you.
it for today's episode.